At 2:30 a.m., Ibrahim Traore's secure phone lit up with a message destined to reshape global banking. 8 words appeared. Golden blockchain is live. Africa's financial independence activated. What unfolded in the next 72 hours proved that revolutions don't always arrive with tanks or gunfire. Sometimes they arrive as lines of code, unstoppable by any army. The sender was Dr. Amina Konate, Burkina Faso's newly appointed Director of Digital Financial Innovation, a role that hadn't even existed 6 months earlier. Hidden from the world, her mission was about to be revealed. As Traore stared at those words, he realized Africa was about to launch its boldest economic experiment in modern history. For 18 months, while outsiders assumed Burkina Faso was focused on mining and agriculture, a secret team of Africa's brightest minds had been building something unprecedented: the continent's first sovereign, AI-powered central bank digital currency. This wasn't just a digital version of existing money. It was a complete reimagining of how African nations could reclaim control over their economic destiny. The operation carried the codename Sanka, an Akan word meaning return and get it. It symbolized Africa's mission to reclaim financial sovereignty lost for centuries. But here's what made this different. It wasn't just about Burkina Faso. It was about creating a parallel financial universe where Africa could trade, invest, and build wealth without Western banks. The journey began when Traore received a classified report. French banks planned new restrictions on CFA franc transactions, granting them power to approve or deny any transaction above 10,000 CFA francs. They want to chain us to their financial systems forever. His advisors debated protests, but Traore was already thinking 3 steps ahead. What if Africa didn't need permission at all? That night, he made a call that changed everything. Dr. Wame Asante, Ghana-born, MIT-educated, had spent years helping Europe design its digital euro. When Traore called him at 3 a.m. with a proposition that sounded like science fiction, Asante didn't hesitate. "You want to build a continental digital currency system in secret? Not could, will." Recruitment began. African scientists, economists, and engineers across the globe received mysterious offers. The promise was intoxicating. Help build Africa's financial future. By March 2025, a compound outside Ouagadougou housed what looked like an agricultural research facility. Inside, however, the most advanced financial technology lab in Africa was taking shape. We're not just digitizing the CFA franc or the naira. We're creating a new financial language every African country can speak. The ACDF, African Continental Digital Franc, combined Bitcoin security, modern payment speed, and AI-driven fraud detection. It could predict disruptions, adjust interest rates, and coordinate monetary policy in real time. We're building a financial nervous system for the entire continent. And unlike every other digital currency project, the ACDF was designed to operate completely outside Western banking infrastructure. The pilot program began in June 2025 with 5 countries: Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Ghana, and Senegal. Small businesses in Ouagadougou began accepting ACDF tokens. Farmers in Mali sold crops instantly across borders. Construction companies paid workers in real time. Transaction costs dropped by 90%. Payments cleared in seconds. And all of it was invisible to Western banks. Finance Minister Alpha Berry, "We were creating wealth. The old colonial powers couldn't see, couldn't control, and couldn't confiscate."
In August 2025, France imposed sanctions on Burkina Faso. Western intelligence expected collapse. Instead, the economy thrived. Salaries were paid, trade continued, GDP grew. The secret? 60% of Burkina Faso's economy had already transitioned to ACDF. By September, Nigeria quietly integrated with ACDF. Soon, South Africa, Kenya, and Ethiopia followed. By October, 12 nations were conducting major economic activity outside Western control. Panic spread through international institutions. Analysts warned of capital flight. The African Union announced the African Continental Digital Economic Zone. AU chairperson Moussa Faki. Political independence was just the beginning. Economic independence completes our liberation. Western institutions issued warnings, but Africa no longer needed aid on old terms. Development was financed through its own digital bonds. Dr. Akimwe Adesina. For the first time in my lifetime, African countries are setting the terms of our economic relationships. Stock markets soared, currencies strengthened, brain drain reversed. China accepted ACDF for Belt and Road projects. Russia sold energy in ACDF. India exported pharmaceuticals in ACDF. The Global South spoke with one voice. Africa's financial sovereignty became a universal model. In January 2028, Western powers launched Operation Reset, a cyber attack that froze Africa's digital economy for 17 minutes. Colonel Damiba, they're trying to prove our independence is an illusion. But Africa had prepared. Defensive multiplication protocols restored the system stronger than before. Evidence traced the attack to Western institutions. Trower, today the world learns that economic terrorism isn't just a theory. In June 2028, 14 CFA franc countries withdrew simultaneously, completing independence. Trower, today we reclaim the right to control our own monetary destiny. By 2029, Africa's digital currency was the world's second largest. GDP growth exceeded China's peak. Poverty declined faster than anywhere else. Africa had become a net provider of development assistance. Trower, we proved African solutions can be world solutions. In December 2029, the Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to Ibrahim Traore, Dr. Wame Asante, and Dr. Amina Konate. This prize belongs not to us, but to every African who dared to believe our continent could control its destiny. As the applause thundered, a young Rwandan student approached him. Thank you for making it possible to dream of building companies in Africa instead of escaping to Silicon Valley. Don't thank me, thank yourself for dreaming bigger than the world expected. The revolution that began with 8 words had become the foundation of a new era. Africa had stopped asking permission, and the world would never be the same.